December always means one thing for university students, and that is a well-deserved break. A break from lectures, a break from seminars, and a break from university meals. I've been there. Fish finger sandwiches, one pot pasta, and lots of takeaways that my bank account couldn't afford. But for today's video, our chef Yusuf is using this December break as a time to refresh your cooking skills, ready for when you return to your halls and residences. We asked Yusuf to show us how one can cook a fresh meal at university that is fast, affordable, and uses real ingredients to show that we don't need to resort to microwave meals. But before showing us how easy it is to make a fresh dish at home, we firstly wanted Yusuf to experience university cooking at its finest. So, with the help of Abbas, a university student who very kindly lent us his dorm room, first thing first, it was time to hit the supermarket.
Okay, we're in the pasta section, and I saw this sauce. Keep it very simple. Let's do it. I'm gonna go with this because it looks funky, and I like this kind of shape. We've got here 9 garlic baguette slices. 69 pence. Block of cheese. Funky shape. Alright, we are on the floor of Abbas. We just have this shopping and whatever Abbas has in his room. Assalamu alaikum.
This is my humble abode.
I wouldn't say this is typical though, this is very nice, mashallah. We're here to cook. I want to know what equipment we're cooking with. Thank you very much. Very nice pan.
Chef, I heard you like a challenge. So that is all you've got.
This is very interesting. So we're gonna have to figure out a way to cook pasta in a frying pan. Do you have a knife?
We do have those. We do have those. The air fryer.
The reason why I've never tried an air fryer is I feel like an air fryer is like a toasty maker in that you'll eat nothing but air fryer meals for like a week and then you'll put it in the cupboard and never use it again. I use a pan like a normal human being. I use a pan.
So it looks like a regular microwave, but technically it works as an oven. So you take this out, but you see the fan back there?
Oh, it works as an oven. We could do the garlic bread in there. That's so sick.
Probably, yeah. We've got some leftover sauces. I think everyone can relate.
Standard.
I got my ketchup and mayonnaise. You're probably thinking why?
Also, no Heinz ketchup. Polish ketchup.
This is actually Polish ketchup, and it's probably the best ketchup I've tasted in my life.
Really? So you chose it by choice? Wait, can we do garlic bread in an air fryer?
Absolutely, we can.
We're making garlic bread in the air fryer. We're gonna maybe make pasta in a microwave, and we're gonna make the sauce in a frying pan. Why not? All right, let's start. It smells mad garlicky, which we like. Here's a guarantee that I can give everyone, right? Every instruction that requires heating something in the oven always says the same thing, 180 degrees, 20 minutes. Preheat oven to 200 degrees, place it in the oven 5 to 7 minutes. Never mind. Let's slice up some cheese. Okay, so what do you do when you run out of space in the kitchen? Use a chair as well?
Use the floor.
Use the floor? Okay, so we have 3 cloves of garlic, taking the bottom off, all of our garlic as I always like to do. Slice it up now. What I'm gonna do is use the knife and my weight to crush it. Once you tiptoe, you're putting your weight onto the garlic because people need to realize that you're not crushing it with your hand, you're crushing it with the actual weight of your body. Call me a classic man, but I don't like modern stoves. They're just too, why can't I see the heat? I never understand it. I always feel like I'm gonna burn myself on it because I don't know where the heat is or not. Is that right? There we go. So it's heating up. Let's pinch a bit of this olive oil. Let's give it a little swirl in the pan. And we are going to chuck in our garlic, some salt, and let's salt the garlic because what it will do is we can release a lot of its natural kind of flavors and stuff like that. Salt always draws out more flavor from things. So what I'm gonna do now that the garlic is sizzling, this is gonna be a very garlicky dish by the way. I'm gonna put a bit of veg in. Okay, I'm gonna take that off the heat now, just because I wanna get this pasta going. Like I said, we haven't got a pot, so let's just try it. Oh, this feels so wrong. It's so wrong. This is gonna be hilarious. So this is going in the microwave. If this actually works, I'll be really impressed because I've never done this in my life. I think it worked, not gonna lie. Yeah, that's all right, you know. This is how Tesla must have felt when he discovered like light bulbs or whatever he discovered. This is properly cooked pasta in a microwave. And we have proper pasta water underneath it that we can use to cook. Air fry is ready. Garlic bread is going in. Okay, we are going to put the pasta in because it's not fully cooked. And you know what I'm quite surprised about the microwave pasta? It didn't stick. Oh, this is tomato and mascarpone sauce, which is now going into our pasta. So the pasta water, that's a good question actually. So the pasta water has salt in it, it has starch in it, which is the most important thing. Yeah, when something has starch in it, it helps make things thick and silky and like gives Oh, not bad. It needs longer. Oh, I've made an absolute mess. Cool, so we have our finished meal. Let me stop talking, let's see how it tastes. We're gonna give it to Abbas and see what he thinks.
It's very cautious.
Do that.
The pasta, when it comes to flavors, I mean the Parmesan really finishes it off really well. I would say, if you had given me this at a restaurant and said, here's your pasta, I don't think you would have put this in, I wouldn't have guessed that you put it in the microwave.
Well, that was an experience. After arguably ruining my dignity as a chef, I can safely say that I'm not using a microwave again. Having said that, we're back here in the studio to try and make something a little bit more interesting. So if you want to step up your game a little bit and not use pasta sauce that's come straight out of a jar, if you want to be a bit more authentic, we're going to make a pasta recipe that is authentic and it's super simple. Only 3 ingredients and it's going to be actually quicker than the last recipe we made. We're making cacio e pepe and we're also making some garlic bread to go along with it. Everything's going to be super fresh. It's going to be a lot healthier and better for you than the last one was. And you're gonna love it. So let's get straight into it. Yeah, so we've got this really nice loaf that we're gonna start with. It can seem kind of huge and crazy, but what we're gonna do is break it down into different sections. And I'm also going to cut it along the side like this. And we're just gonna cut it in half like this and give us some really nice big pieces. Because to be honest, who wants little pieces of garlic bread? You want the massive pieces that you can just eat in one go. So we're just getting like that. We need to preheat the oven. Make sure it's on like 180, 190 should be okay. I'm gonna take a whole head of garlic, because to be honest, you can't skimp out. You have to make sure that you've got a really good garlicky flavor. Otherwise, it's just bread, to be honest, not really garlic bread. So cut this root off. Blade of my knife to just crush it. And what you'll find is that you'll be able to like so simply just peel them all off because it's been crushed. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use a pestle and mortar. You don't have to. You can just use a knife, or you can blend it up if you want, or you can use garlic paste. A bit gross, but you know, you can make it happen. And we're just going to chuck it into our pestle and mortar and just start hammering it. So we're just going to add our next ingredient, which is some parsley. So we're gonna use some parsley. As you can see, it's super fresh. I'm not using any dried stuff. You can use dried if you want, but I just think fresh tastes so much better. I'm gonna roughly chop it first before it goes in. So we have some salted water in the background. Just chuck our butter in. We're just gonna mash this butter up. Okay, so the butter is like nicely kind of pounded in. So we have a really amazing kind of garlic butter. What we're gonna do is just spread the butter all over the different pieces of bread. Okay, so just to finish this off, we're going to take some fresh mozzarella, which is just going to be torn up and literally just chucked on top. It doesn't have to be done in any kind of fancy way. And then I've got a bit of hard cheese. I'm using pecorino in this case, which is a sheep's cheese. You don't have to. You can use anything you want. You can just leave it like that, to be honest. It's absolutely fine. But I'm just going to grate this and I'm just going to chuck a nice bit of that on top. So now that our garlic bread is looking nice, garlicky, cheesy, we're just going to chuck this in the oven for about 15 minutes and it should become nice and oozy and crispy. Let's go. As you can see, I've only put a small amount of water in this, and that's because starch is the real key ingredient of this recipe. So I've got some salted boiling water, maybe half the amount that you'd normally use for pasta, because we're really trying to utilize this starch. And I'm just going to carefully twist this until it is in. So now that we've folded the pasta in, as you can see, it's barely been covered by water. We're not trying to fully cook this through. What we're trying to do is create so much starch in the water that it helps form the cooking sauce. So we're just going to grind this pepper, and it's really important to grind your pepper fresh, so don't use like powdered pepper or anything like that, because it's the key ingredient in this. So we're just going to grind this up until it's like nice, fine, well, not fine, but like kind of coarse. It shouldn't be like so huge that like you're going to taste it, big bits of pepper in your mouth, but it shouldn't be so fine that like you don't see it at all. You want to get a nice kind of balance with it. I am going to take a pan, whack it on the heat. Once our pan is nice and hot, the pepper is going inside, and we're just going to sort of dry toast this. Get it nice and toasty, so you have a nice aroma of like black pepper kind of coming around. Oh my God, what second? I just inhaled a really big amount of pepper. And we're gonna add in some pasta water into some pecorino that we've grated. You can use any kind of hard cheese as well, it's absolutely fine. It's gonna make a really nice starchy kind of cheesy mix, and it's so much better than having pasta from a jar. Add some of that pasta water in. Okay, so what we're gonna do is chuck in our pasta, just like that. Okay, so we've tossed it nicely in this pepper, and now we're gonna add in that slurry of pecorino and starch, and it's gonna make such a nice kind of creamy sauce. And you're wondering why there's that gap on the side. It's because, I'm not saying, man, they're all nice. Let's put this on the side. And already you have the most authentic looking, kind of really fresh pasta with garlic bread. It's levels above the other one. It's super simple. There were only 3 ingredients in this pasta, but it looks so creamy without putting any of the extra kind of butter and cream and fat to make it unhealthy. And we've got the garlic bread as well. Let's see how it tastes. It's very naturally creamy. You've got the nice cheese flavor coming through. You've got the nice peppery flavor too. It's nice and glossy as well. It's really good. And honestly, like, if you want to try and make it yourself, it will come out so nicely, I'm sure. So there we have it. We've had 2 meals. One of them was a bit of a challenge, and the second one I've made from scratch. It can be super simple, you know. Food doesn't have to be too complicated. This was incredibly simple. Didn't take too long to make. Didn't break the bank. And most importantly, we're using fresh ingredients. We're not using anything that's come from a jar. So if you end up having a go making this at home, take a picture, send it to us at Freshly Grounded on Instagram. I hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you next time.